The content, views, and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the City of Bremerton, BCAT, their officials, or their employees. Every generation is offered a choice: to watch from the sidelines or to step into the work of shaping tomorrow. For some, the call to duty is loud, clear, and immediate. For others, it's quieter, growing over time into something that cannot be ignored. I have come to believe that each of us, in our own way, holds the power to contribute to a better future through service, through action, and through listening. Today on Afternoons, we sit down for an intimate and reflective conversation with a man whose public service has defined a generation of civic leadership in Bremerton. Greg Wheeler, the city's sitting mayor, joins me not as a politician seeking spotlight, but as a son of this city whose life has been shaped by its rhythms, its struggles, and its promise. This program does not endorse candidates. We are here to understand, not to persuade, to listen, not to litigate. This is Afternoons with Ash. I'm Ash Black, and this is a conversation with Mayor Greg Wheeler. Mayor Wheeler, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate that you were able to make it out here. This is something that I've been trying to do for a really long time. And, I got to say, before we get into all the questions or anything, I remember a very specific day. I think it was back in 2021 where I was coming out of my house and there was the mayor of Bremerton just walking down the street, knocking on people's doors and shaking hands. And I remember that you shook my hand and you said hello. And, you reminded me about, the things that were going on at that time. But the coolest part about this moment was I looked at you and I was like, Mayor Wheeler, I have a TV show and I'd love for you to be a guest on it sometime. And you looked right back at me and you were like, I know, Ash, you're doing a great job. And I really think for me, that was like the first time that really anybody had given me any kind of recognition that they even watched this show. And so, I just want to thank you so much for doing that and being there and being out in public. It means so much to our community. So thank you so much for everything you do. I appreciate you. I wanted to start today talking about your life and what it means for you to be a member of this community. As I mentioned in the lead up, you are a son of Bremerton. You're also a veteran of our military, a proud American. You work not only as the mayor of our wonderful town, but you're also still at the shipyard, from what I understand.
Oh.
Tell me about your life. Tell me about this journey and the values that have shaped your early years and your public life.
Oh, thank you, Ash. So, no, I retired from Puget Sound Naval Shipyard 9.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yep. So, this job that I have currently, the mayor, is a full-time position. So, I was honored to put in 34 years total of military service and the shipyard. Just to start a little bit about me and what shaped me. Came back home after serving in the military and found work at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. I took a test. I was able to be one of those selected to enter an apprenticeship program. So I earned my journeyman pipe fitter credentials and was a mechanic for 14 years at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. And from there I moved on to engineering and retired 9.5 years ago. I was, just to get me back a little earlier, and some of the things that shaped me is I was raised in Bremerton. I was born in Longview, Kelso. Born in Longview, dad from Longview, mom from Kelso. I was up here at 3 months old. So that was it's early, 1959. And so all but born here, but raised in East Bremerton. We lived in a working class neighborhood, had lots of great childhood friends and memories. My brother and I and my mom and dad, we grew up in what they call war boxes. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath duplex. And but the memories are phenomenal from growing up, and a lot of things shaped me. Went to View Ridge Elementary School, the elementary school just down the road, Dewey Junior High. Ended up going to Central Kitsap High School, and from there, a little bit of Olympic College, some other work, landscaping, working on the tree farm at Alpine Evergreen, and then enlisting in the United States Navy. And from there, from that point on, there was direction and focus there, and the rest is gets me here today. I think the things that most shaped me growing up are the blue-collar work ethic values that I was raised with and I was surrounded by. We are a working city. We are a city of folks who work hard, and in my neighborhood it was no different. If we weren't working from families that worked in the shipyard, we were from families that supported a lot of the industry, all the way from the grocery and retail clerks to the janitors, to the folks who are even professionals, providing the professional services that our community needs. Our neighborhoods were diverse. It was mixtures of all walks of life, and that's what shaped me, a lot of who I am. The shipyard, is a full-time job itself.
Absolutely.
So by the time I was finished, I was an assistant project engineer, and I was working major submarine projects. And so there would never, just so folks know, the mayor job is a full-time job and then some. It's harder to find, but the days don't really end. You keep your phone handy. You are constantly in meetings. You need to be on call and on point and be ready. And it's also a style that defines me as you need to be in the public and let people know who is representing them, who's working for them, and you need to be there to communicate back, at least give the opportunity for feedback and communicate what you're doing. I think that's vitally important. And we also need to be out there recognizing and encouraging the other work going on. Ash, when we met on the doorstep, I feel it was important to encourage you on your journey. You have picked a path. I recognize the effort you put in. I felt it was important. I do that continuously throughout the community. And to me, part of what we should do, and one of the most important parts is elevating others to be the best they can be. If you do enough of that, then you're starting to elevate your community. You provide resources where you can, even if it's only guidance. You provide resources, you try to help remove obstacles, and then you help, if it's an individual or a group or an entity, be the best they can be, and just be there supporting. It leads into other things in our city where you're seeing progress. It's measurable throughout our city. And so, Ash, I probably could keep talking, but I know you've got a few things that you need to ask about me and maybe a few other questions. But
well, let me just say on that subject, though, I agree. I've seen you out there doing that work, not just on my doorstep or in the neighborhoods, but for example, at the Quincy Square unveiling, you had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
And we've seen that measurable progress that comes with a project like that, and the joy that comes to people's faces that get to experience it, and the joy that will come to future Bremertonians when they get to experience it. Not just that, but Doc Loves the Kids Day, a holiday dedicated to my guy, Doc Blackwell, who's done so much for the community, and now, like you said, he's elevated to do so much more. There's a goal of over 2,000 kids this year that will get to enjoy Doc Loves the Kids Day. And, I got to say, we thank you for that. You've now had 2 terms in the city, and, being the mayor of a city comes with a lot of challenges and change. What accomplishments do you hold most dear, and what work do you think remains unfinished here in Bremerton?
Yeah. I was kind of just reviewing some accomplishments and achievements. And first off, I just want to start by saying nobody does anything alone. So it takes a team. It takes a dedicated team, and ultimately, as a mayor, the community enthusiasm, energy, talent stepping up. And I can point to revitalization of the Wheaton Way corridor, the Harrison Hospital District, the starting programs, rental assistance programs, proactive code enforcement, the street and sidewalk program, weatherization programs, cleaning up Kitsap Lake. There's so many things out there that I'm just proud of. I personally recruited Multicare to open up a freestanding emergency room just outside of our Bremerton borders.
Yes, that happened very recently.
Yeah, and just, as we talk and time allows, more will come up, but it's just the, starting programs where I recognize youth for achievements. The Mayor's Youth Leadership Award, the Washington State Science and Engineering Fair, the Mayor's Challenge. Those little programs where you get kids to start focusing on their civic involvement, their civic duty, and/or be part of the solution for technology and science and technology breakthroughs for city challenges. Both those promote future leaders, and so there's so many more achievements. What I want to see continue is the full realization of the potential of our business districts. The Wheaton Way corridor still needs to be completed. So there's more work to be done. Downtown in the Manette, the Charleston, and downtown, there is more work to be done to get those areas revitalized. I'm proud of the jobs that have come in recently, working with the building owners and contractors to bring in the 350 jobs lately, just downtown in the Tim Ryan building. I'm proud of that work. There's more that needs to be done. Quincy Square, getting that activated. We can talk about an infrastructure project. What's really going to matter is when we breathe life into it, when it's out in the communities where individuals like Doc, like yourself, other entrepreneurs can utilize that space and showcase their creative part of themselves. It will be a music venue, though.
Yes.
And one of the things I made clear is everybody needs to benefit from this $5.5 million infrastructure project. This needs to be a place where opportunity occurs. And especially for folks who may not see opportunity in any other way, other than to have a performing arts venue that's going to be second to none in the county, an outdoor performing arts venue, where is second to none, where we can get either opportunities for youth to learn and showcase skills, upcoming artists who cannot get a spot because all of our venues are so tight. They're tight. They have good entertainers. Some people just need a spot. Quincy Square is going to be that spot. And then, of course, there's going to be established artists down there. But getting that up and running, that's not going to happen on its own. So already working on the plan, getting the funding for activation. This will have to be managed. Continuing the Kitsap Lake cleanup has to be accomplished. There's more work we can do, so that is self-sustaining.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Pendergast Park, always been on my list since day one. We will complete Lulu Haddon this year. Kitsap Lake is close to being done. We're almost secured the rest of the funding. Wonderful, wonderful projects. Pendergast will be next on our list. That will be a game changer for our region. We will be a draw when we get that one done. There's already $5.5 million in investment up there. The goal is to bring it home. Get the rest of the funds, complete the build-out. We will have soccer, rugby, lacrosse, tournaments, camps, league play. There's an economic benefit to that. We've done the economic analysis. There's just the benefit to our community as far as good, structured, healthy outdoor recreation.
100%. Children need this. And
absolutely.
Our community needs to have it too. And I'm very excited to hear this news.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, 50 years down the road, 100 years in the future, the Bremerton of tomorrow, What do you hope that folks will remember about your legacy here in Bremerton?
You know, it's still to be defined. I've been mayor through crisis. We've had a pandemic, and we've had disruptions in the way regular business is done at the federal government level. Not to get into the politics, but there's no doubt that then and today what is happening on the national level has tremendous impacts on every citizen in our city.
Yes.
And my job and what my legacy will be and what we will achieve is still to come. We've made a lot of progress, and we will continue the progress that I mentioned. But it also have to come while we take care of folks who are feeling that they're being harmed. Okay, let's face it. Some folks' lives are being harmed today. We will have to ensure that we are helpful where we can be. We are a stable, calming influence at the local level to ensure that there are things we can do. There are programs in place to help people at all walks of life. And just make sure that while everything else around them is chaotic, the government closest to them, the one that impacts their daily lives the most, is here and ready to help. And we can pull through this together. So I don't want to define a legacy yet, because I think we've got challenges ahead, and I've never looked at a challenge without seeing an opportunity at the same time. And we have opportunities. So there's more to come.
Well said. Well said. Thank you. I'm curious how you kind of navigate these types of things, because and not that we should all rely on social media to get our news, but I feel like more and more folks go to social media to learn about what they think city council should be doing or the mayor of Bremerton should be doing, and I find it could be a very hurtful place. How do you navigate what's said about you in the public realm when it comes to making decisions that, let's face it, are hard and for everybody, for the benefit of all? And like you said, I know there's certain groups that are definitely hurting right now, and it's clear to everyone. But there again, you do have to satisfy an entire city when it comes to needs, and it can be a very deadly sport. How do you handle that? The one thing I remember who I am, the values that brought me here, which are hard work, do the right thing, even if nobody is watching. Always, anybody listening should always, take that to heart. Do the right things if nobody's watching. To get me to always center myself and get to the core of what I do, remember the doorsteps. At the local level, we can doorbell. This is why local politics matter. This is the politics closest to the people, and that really does mean that interpersonal, face-to-face connection. We can do that. And so if you've seen anything in my last 8 years, it is the result of 25,000 door knocks. That's through 2 campaigns. I take that back to City Hall. I can weather any storm to make good on the commitments that I made to individuals and the hope and the confidence they put in me to act on their behalf when they are so busy just getting through the day, raising kids, holding jobs, committing to their kids' sports, their own activities, churches. They put the trust in me, and I take those conversations, and anything you see is what I'm taking back and working on. That can ground you through any storm. So if it's local, Facebook, social media, if it's other state or national political turmoil, remembering those conversations, that will ground a person. That grounds me. It keeps me centered when everything else around appears to be, chaotic at times. Yep. Greg, I want to ask you one final question here. Obviously, we've announced a new campaign. How do you ensure that future leadership continues to reflect on the people that it serves?
There's, what I hope is, and I hope that I'm setting an example. The one thing, when I went up to Mountain View Middle School today, and today is a career day. But as I was, talking to the folks who were designated to go talk about their careers, I was walking through the hallways and had several students who recognized me for being out in their neighborhoods, talking on their doorstep. What I hope is I'm setting an example of what a representative form of government, especially at the local level, looks like. How it makes an individual feel, if it makes you feel, if it connects them, and can they see the results, and can they be tracked? And in that home, discussions occur over our conversations. They look at the feedback, they read the media, they watch the media, they see the work being done. It's me taking what I've heard back to City Hall and implementing all these programs, all these efforts and initiatives, focusing our resources. What I'm hoping is they saw the value from me being on this doorstep, talking with their parents. I hope that the younger folks see that value, and it's never too late to learn that representative government in that fashion is the right way to go. Walking the walk, walking the talk is really important to me. Being authentic and transparent, walking the talk. And I'll keep doing it. I will stay at this. And especially since right now I'm about 2,000 doors into my journey. Ash, you've seen me twice recently.
Yes.
You're getting the word of mouth and stuff, and it's setting that example at the same time, just letting folks know they're being heard. So.
Mayor Wheeler, thank you so much. Why don't you tell our guests, our viewers actually, why don't you tell our viewers where they can learn more about your campaign if they're interested in checking you out?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ash. So info@reelectgregwheeler.com is a great place to start. That right there will get you a wealth of information and contact information. As I tell everybody I meet, I embrace feedback, comments, questions, feedback. If I'm missing something, I want to hear about it. And but it'll also get you an update on what I've been working on and goals for the future. So info@reelectgregwheeler.com.
Mayor Wheeler, I appreciate you so much. Every time I see you, you're doing wonderful things for the city, not just coming on my show and engaging with us and our audience today. But, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. As I mentioned in the lead up to our show today, this is about those kids that you're seeing out in those schools. And I hope that when they, see you out here today, they realize that they can, be a mayor of a city one day too. Thank you so much for being here today.
All right.
Leadership is not always loud. It is often shaped in quiet decisions, in unseen hours, and in the resilience to stay the course. As we continue this series, you'll hear from other voices shaping Bremerton's future, each offering a perspective worth hearing. This afternoon, we've spoken with a man whose life has been lived in service of one city. Whether you agree with his policies or not, his devotion is unquestionable. Mayor Greg Wheeler, thank you. To our viewers, be curious, stay informed, and always be present in the conversations that shape your community. This has been Afternoons with Ash. I'm Ash Black. And yes, don't forget to use that power finger, like, subscribe, and stay activated. You can find all of our episodes on our YouTube channel and catch the live broadcasts on BCAT, as well as all the extras at Afternoons with Ash Black on Facebook.